Good morning, welcome to Morning Review. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday, the 31st of January. So, looking at the euro dollar first, and well, yesterday saw quite a sell off at one stage, a bit of a retracement as we saw some bit of divergence on the MACD there. It's now, well, it's neutralizing a little bit, and you see there's flattening out on the indicator, but flattening out on price to some extent. Certainly this hourly shows it a lot clearer. Now, if we start pushing up, I sort of drew a trend line across these highs here. It's probably a bit previous to be buying on the break of that, but maybe if it gets back above that weekly pivot, I'll be looking at the long side with potential targets of yesterday's highs and beyond into the R1. So seeing a bit more of a bigger correction there. So that's the upside potential. Now, if we fail this morning, it just sort of fails around this area and starts selling. Well, I think anything below the daily pivot looks a reasonable opportunity. I was looking at the projected monthly pivots, which were below yesterday's low, so it may sort of dash down there early part of the month anyway, next month, so Wednesday. So we may see a move towards that, but looking at the market, as I say, indecisive at the moment. Looking at the pound, well, the pound yesterday did sell off and held down there. It still looks to me from this 4-hourly and well, the daily relatively weak. It's an intermediate time frame, put lower highs, lower lows in, and really it's possibly just a simple case. If it starts selling off this morning, breaking, I appreciate this is a live candle at the moment, I just popped that into, but breaking wherever the 7 o'clock candle finishes, if it breaks that sort of level, well, we could be on back towards the monthly pivot. Little in the way, I mean, the projected monthly pivot's below us for tomorrow, and we could just draw down towards that way a slight bit earlier. So at the moment, looking weak. I'm just looking to see if there is a bullish calls. Well, bullish calls for me really have to be starting to get a serious bounce in. I'd prefer it to be above that 50 MA if I'm trying to play it, and then it gives us opportunities back towards yesterday's highs there. Dollar yen. Well, he put a daily pivot swing in yesterday. It's not the most powerful one, but it's put one in. It's got negative momentum sitting across the time frames. It's fading a little bit on the dailies there. It still looks like it's got potential downside. Now, looking at it from an hourly perspective, you can see the divergence that's sitting between the lows and, well, untouched daily pivot. So just really watching this. It's not an easy trade because a break of any sort of trend line here runs into straight into the 60.21. So which could provide resistance. Maybe a break of the 60.21s gives a clearer opportunity back to the daily pivot and maybe beyond it for any bounce. But at the moment, although it's diverging, it still looks relatively weak. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar were diverged into the highs on the dailies, and it's yesterday didn't do too much. Very in range bound day. It's not really giving too much a clue away on these sort of daily candles, 4-hourly candles. Maybe the 34's giving us a bit more of a picture of potential upside here, and maybe a break of the trend line. It looks a bit ugly actually. I've just put that on the wrong place. Let's put that, there we go. Break of that trend line may see further upside. It has an untouched daily pivot below. I'd prefer to see that being hit and cleared before I looked at the long side on this. It's a market that chops around during the day quite frequently. So I would, at the moment, I would rather be on the short side towards that daily pivot in the 50 MA. May get another bounce off there. It's bounced off of it previously yesterday. May get a similar sort of move, but it's too choppy for me at the moment, the Aussie dollar. So Canadian dollar, let's have a look at this. Canadian dollars again yesterday, almost inside a sort of spinning top candle, didn't quite get up to the weekly pivot. It's one of the few that didn't hit his weekly pivot yesterday, and it's well, big down bar that we saw midday yesterday really left us in a bit of a mess here at the moment. It's not particularly clear here at all. We've got an untouched daily pivot above us, which may be the draw. So at the moment, looking across these markets, and it looks like there may be a bit more dollar strength to come through these markets. The yen, the Canadian dollar, both showing potential for moves back up with pivots untouched, and the European currencies, the euro, the pound, erring towards potential downside. So that's where I'm sitting at the moment. News-wise today, we've already had the Bank of Japan's report, and it's been pretty neutral, as we saw very little significant movement here through that session. What we're seeing now, we've got Draghi speaking at 8 o'clock this morning, may create a bit of volatility, but nothing significant there. And then really we're looking at we should be looking at 9:30 for the UK data coming out. It looks like maybe that's tomorrow. Beg your pardon, that's tomorrow. I'm just thinking it's only the 31st. Nothing significant got today at all, actually, in terms of real significant data now. So really, it's just Draghi speaking at 8 o'clock. The CPI, the inflation data that comes out in Europe isn't really big movers. Canadian GDP is a monthly figure, so there's nothing really significant throughout a normal trading session. Okay, that's it for me. Have a great one. Bye for now.